How do you handle conflict in your workplace? How do you lead conflict productively? Well, today we're talking about rule number 4 for leading productive conflict. Hang on, because this is your weekly kick. Hey, welcome to your weekly kick. Today we're talking about rule number 4 in leading productive conflict. Rule number 4 is simply this: laying out action steps that one or both of us are going to take to make sure that the same things don't happen again that caused the conflict in the first place. We want to resolve the issues and make sure they don't keep reoccurring. We need to put in action steps to make sure that happens. Here's what I mean. This is my wife's truck. There's been a bit of a noise in the front end when she steps on her brakes. It sounds like the brake pads are maybe a little bit light. So I'm going to take a look. I'm going to see what they look like. Oh, they look okay from here. Well, if you know anything about vehicles, you know that that is not the way to check a brake pad. You can't just look on the outside and go, okay, I've checked them. That's not enough. And it's the same with laying out action steps with conflict. We need to lay out the exact steps we need to go through. Here's what we need to do to check the brake pads. If I'm going to take a look at them, here are the steps I need to go through. First step, I need to block off the back wheels so that it doesn't roll, because I'm going to lift the front end off the ground. So that's the first step. Okay, if you look closely, you won't be able to see the back wheel, but I've got it blocked off, and I've got the front wheel lifted off the ground. That's the first step. The second step is to take this wheel off. So the second step is finished. The front wheel is off the truck, and the brake pad and the rotor and everything are visible. Now the next step is to take a look. If I had jack stands, I could put them in here and I'd put my head in here and take a look and see how much brake pad is actually left inside. Well, I'm not going to do that because I don't have jack stands under here, but that would be the third step. We can tell pretty clearly how much brake pad is left. Okay, I'm finished. Oh, I'm not. There's still a couple of action steps left that I need to take. The first one is to put the wheel back on the truck. Okay, so step number 4 is done. Now that I've woken up all my neighbors, I'm in the middle of putting it back on with an electric impact, and I realize it's still pretty early in the morning. So if you live beside me, I apologize. But that's the 4th step. The last step, because I'm still not done, is to take the jack off, lower the truck to the ground, take the jack out, and the block from behind the rear wheel so we can actually drive the truck. Okay, truck is ready to go. I've completed all the steps I've needed to inspect the front brake pads. Same is true with conflict resolution, with leading productive conflict. We need action steps to make sure we know who's going to do what and when they're going to do it, and that we've committed to it. This is the 4th rule for productive conflict. That's the end of our series on how to lead productive conflict. There's still another 11 rules that you'll find in my new book, More Than a Hammer: Leadership Tools for the Trades, Part 2. Next week we're starting a new series. This too is going to be based on my new book, and it's going to be all about how do we set clear expectations for the people we lead, how do we measure their performance relative to those expectations, how do we hold people accountable to those expectations, and how do we correct and evaluate the people we lead effectively. And this is going to be another 4-part series that's going to be practical. It's going to have tools that you can put into practice right away. I'm looking forward to our new series because this too is going to bring some great practical tools for how you can lead more effectively. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday for your weekly kick.